tutorial about lab equipment. Today I'm going to give you the names and the uses of many different lab equipment that you will use throughout the year. The first important piece of equipment are goggles. Goggles should be worn at all times in the lab to protect your eyes. Next is the beaker. This is a 250 milliliter beaker as seen here. A beaker is used to hold liquid. A beaker is not used to accurately measure liquid. Instead, it can be used to estimate liquid levels. Next, these are beaker tongs. If you notice the wide opening. Beaker tongs are used to hold a beaker as seen here when a beaker is hot. This is an Erlenmeyer Flask, 125 milliliters. An Erlenmeyer Flask has a wide bottom surface area, good for heating liquids as well, and a narrow top in order to keep the liquids contained. These are called hot hands. They're made out of rubber. They also can be used to grasp hot pieces of glass, as seen here, and the beaker as well. This is a graduated cylinder, 100 milliliters as read up here on the top. A graduated cylinder is used to accurately measure liquid. This is known as a wash bottle or a water bottle, or as read here, a deionized water bottle. It is used to help spray water into any sort of lab equipment when needed. This is a test tube. A test tube can hold liquid and solid, and a test tube can be heated under a Bunsen burner. This is a test tube clamp. If you pinch the clamp, the front end will open, and you can insert your test tube as seen here, and hold the clamp from the handle, and then heat the test tube. The test tube can also be inserted into a test tube holder, as seen here. This is a test tube rack as well. This is a thermometer used to measure temperature. It should not be used as a stirring rod. This is a stirring rod, glass stirring rod used to mix liquids. This is a scooper, also known as a scoopula. A scoopula has a very narrow tip and is used to scoop solid from a container in order for you to use, and you can scoop up the solid and put it in a beaker or a test tube or whatever piece of equipment you're using. This is known as a well plate or a well dish or a reaction plate. It has many little dips where you can create mini reactions. You can pour liquids in here or even react solids. This is a watch glass. A watch glass is not used for heating substances. Instead, it is used to carry or support or hold solid material. It can also be used as a dish for weighing. It can be used as a lid on top of a beaker as well. This is a Bunsen burner used to heat things up. The Bunsen burner has tubing that can be inserted into any of the gas jets at your lab station seen here. This is a striker. A striker is used to light the Bunsen burner using a spark. This is a crucible with its lid. A crucible is a small container made out of porcelain that is used to heat up small samples at high temperatures. This is a clay triangle. A clay triangle can be used to hold the crucible when heating. Clay triangle nestles the crucible as seen here. And I will demonstrate how this is set up on the ring stand in just a little bit. This is a ring stand. A ring stand is used to assemble different pieces of equipment, such as the ring. The ring has a screw at the back end. The ring is placed on the ring stand, as seen here. And then such pieces of equipment, such as the triangle, can be placed on the ring stand and on the ring. And then the crucible, for example, can be placed inside the clay triangle. And your Bunsen burner goes underneath for proper heating. Also, wire gauze can be placed on the ring, and you can put other pieces of equipment up here that need to be heated, maybe the beaker. The wire gauze is used to help protect and as a base on the ring stand. This is an evaporating dish. It is made out of porcelain. It is used to evaporate liquids, sometimes to leave behind a solid that was dissolved in the liquid. It too is used in a similar fashion. Ring stand, ring, wire gauze, and then the evaporating dish with your Bunsen burner underneath for heating. These are called tongs. Not to be confused with the beaker tongs we talked about earlier. Notice the difference. One has a much wider opening. This one has a narrow opening. Tongs are used to hold smaller pieces of equipment, such as your crucible, your crucible lid, an evaporating dish. Tongs should not be used to hold glassware seen here that is larger. This is a clamp. A clamp can be also assembled onto the ring stand as seen here. The clamp has another part that can be adjusted right here in the front, where when you unscrew this part, the opening of the clamp widens and you can fit a test tube in there. You can then secure the clamp by tightening the screw and allowing the test tube to be heated safely as seen here. This is called a weigh boat. It is just a plastic boat or plastic bin. This bin can hold solids and you can weigh them safely in here. You will take your weigh boat to your balance. This is a balance. It weighs our material. Place the boat on the balance and then place whatever it is that needs to be weighed inside the weigh boat. While there might be more equipment that we come across in our lab, these are the basic pieces you should know and understand. I'm now going to move on to some of the safety features in our lab that you should also be aware of. First and foremost is the safety cabinet seen here. You'll see a big red cross on the cabinet. Inside the cabinet, you'll find a first aid kit with such things as Band-Aid, gauze, Neosporin. Next is the fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher is to be used for fires, such as maybe large pieces of equipment catching on fire, maybe your stool catching on fire. If a fire does occur and the gas is on and we are running our Bunsen burners, this is the emergency gas shutoff. It is a red button seen in the front of the room and the back of the room. There are two buttons, front and back. You should turn this button off if there is a fire in the classroom. Over here is our wash station. We have a shower and an eye wash station. The shower is used by pulling on the triangle. A shower is used when a chemical spill happens on you, your body, or your clothes. You should proceed to the shower if anything spills on you. Pull on the handle and remove any clothing that could be damaged or causing irritation, and shower under here for at least 10 to 15 minutes. The eye wash station is used if you get some sort of a chemical or reaction happening in your eye. You should first remove your goggles, press the lever, and submerge your eyes into the wash for a good 10 to 15 minutes. Next to the eye wash station is the first aid fire blanket. The fire blanket should be used when a person is on fire. Your lab partner or anybody else in the lab should get the blanket and bring it to you if you are on fire. They should then smother the flames by throwing the blanket on you directly. At no point should you ever run to the fire blanket if you're on fire. You will expose more oxygen to the fire, creating a bigger disaster. So what should you do if you're on fire? What you learned when you were in kindergarten, and that is to stop, drop, and roll as your lab partner obtains the blanket. If a big fire occurs in the lab, the best thing to do is to evacuate and pull the fire alarm. As you evacuate the classroom, it is important to hit this button in order to turn the gas off, in order to not create a bigger fire. This is the fume hood. The fume hood is where different reactions can occur, or where we'll keep a lot of our chemicals, or if something is a little bit more toxic or releases a gas that should not be inhaled. The fume hood is actually connected to a vent that leads out of the school and can be turned on with a switch, and the fan will generate. This is the end of our equipment and our safety. Feel free to watch this video over again if you need a refresher.